Right, so fall at the Two Cooks is always filled with the flavors of chilies. So today, uh, we've got this beautiful chili haul from the farmer's market, Dean's
Earth and
Earth
Hands.
and Hands peppers. I've got a bunch of lovely anchos, and look, they're starting to turn red now, and they're good and sweet.
Anaheim, do you mean?
And not poblanos. When they're dried, they're anchos.
There you go.
And then these are Anaheims, and they're just meaty, and a lot of them are turning red. And on our recent trip to New Mexico, we got some Hatch red chilies, which really is just this dried, except the ones that I have here are a little bit hot. And I also got some Guajillos. These are, I mean, they're like raisins. Beautiful. And I'm going to use a couple of these, what are they? These are a little bit hotter. I'm going to use a couple to add some heat.
Not the cayenne?
No, they're not cayenne. So these are all recently purchased from New Mexico. And what we're going to make is chorizo stuffed poblanos with a New Mexico red sauce and a green sauce, which will be made out of the Anaheims. And we're going to stuff the peppers with chorizo, which we're going to have to make ourselves because we couldn't find any today. We found some ground pork, so we'll start with that. So it's going to be fun. I'm going to spend most of my day, obviously, barbecuing and peeling and de-seeding chilies.
Keeps you off the streets.
So, New Mexico red chili sauce. We were just recently on a trip to New Mexico, and there you can order breakfast, lunch, or dinner smothered with sauce, and they have your choice of red sauce or green sauce or both, which they call Christmas. So that's what we're making today, and we're going to need a red sauce for it. So I have here 8 New Mexico chilies. These were purchased in Hatch, and they are actually Hatch chilies. Oftentimes you'll see New Mexico chilies, and they are the same thing, but they're dried Anaheim peppers. Either way, these actually have a little bit of heat in them. When you're in Hatch, you have your choice of mild, hot, or extra hot. And these are the hot ones. And then I have 4 Guajillo peppers. They're also smooth skinned. All these are smooth skinned, which gives a
It's like a bird.
not quite so fruity, not as fruity as the bumpy skin ones in general. And I'm also going to add, to get a little more heat in this, I'm adding 3 de Arbol chilies. And so what I'm going to do is sweat all these, get the seeds out, the stems, soak them, you know, the usual drill, and then we'll come back and do something with them. So I'm just sweating these a little bit in a dry pan. These I'm sweating whole. I just want to bring out some more of the flavors, and then I'm going to let them cool a little bit, and then take the seeds out of them. You can do it the other way around. It doesn't really matter. All right, so my chilies are soaked. I got a cup of the soaking water and a cup of chicken stock. You could use vegetable stock if you want to make this vegetarian. I've got some hot oil in my pan, to which I'm going to put my onion and my garlic. And I'm just going to let those get cooked a little bit before we mix them in with everything else. And so while that's going, I can put the chilies in the blender.
Come in.
I have these in fairly small pieces, and the seeds are from the Arbol, which I wanted to keep. And I'm going to put in the cup of soaking liquid. a teaspoon of salt. Well, I'm going to go a little less. And a teaspoon of Mexican oregano.
I'm always going to cough if there's peppers involved.
Yeah, these have a little bit of a heat from those hatch red chilies. So that's not quite done enough for me yet. And let's see if we can get this to start cutting up those chilies. Okay, that's going along pretty well.
That's good stuff there. I like the red one.
So I want this to end up a smooth sauce, and I don't want chunks of onion floating around in there. So I am going to chop these onions up with the chilies and get the sauce smooth here before I cook it down. And we will add more liquid, but I think I'll wait a minute. So you can see there's still a few little chunks of skins floating around in there, but most of it's ground up. I'm going to add the cup of stock, and then once this cooks down to the consistency you want, that's your sauce. I'm going to add some more oil to the pan, and then start the sauce cooking over a probably kind of a medium-low flame for quite a while. I just want it to slowly thicken. You know, if I'd have been smart, I would have saved some of that chicken stock to clean out the blender.
Yeah, that would have worked.
It would have been, you know, just thinking too far ahead. But as it is, this isn't very thick. It's going to be a spluter.
Yep, get the lid, quick.
Take it off there till I can come up with the lid. There we go.
Okay.
So, you know, dishes like this, when it's warming up, it tends to splash out of the pot a lot. Once it's all uniform temperature, it doesn't do that so much. So it's good to keep a lid on it until then. We do want this to reduce. We want just a nice thick sauce that won't separate on the plate. So here we have our lovely red sauce. I could have blended it a little longer. It's not quite as smooth as I would like, but it's still going to be really good. All right, New Mexico green chili sauce. I have taken my 5 Anaheims, roasted them, peeled them, taken the seeds out, and cut them into a very small dice. What I was after is, you know, the kind of size that you get when you open a can of Ortega chilies or something. About that size, and it's difficult. It's not perfect, but it'll do. So we have about a ½ cup of onion and about 5 garlic cloves all chopped up. I'm going into a pan with some olive oil. Oh, let's see. This was supposed to be, we want quite a bit of oil because we're going to end up making a roux with this. And olive oil and then our onion, and we're going to cook this stuff for a little while. Add some flour. So we'll come back when this is cooked up a little bit. Okay, so the onion and garlic are cooked up. I'm going to add about 1.5 to 2 teaspoons of flour. And we're going to let that cook for a minute. Just browned up just a little bit. Try and get the flour all stirred in. And then we will add a cup of chicken stock. You could use vegetable stock if you want this to be meat-free. And let's stir at the same time so it doesn't get lumpy. I don't think you're really going to have a problem with lumps in this. But we'll just make sure we don't put that. So then once this comes back up to a boil, we're going to add in our chilies and a little bit of salt. And then it's just a matter of cooking this down until it gets nice and thick.
Oh, yep, rainbows big time. Ooh, right there.
Now we're cooking again, so in go the chilies. Now you'll notice that there really are not a lot of flavors in this, except chili, and that's really what we want it to taste like. We want it to taste like these nice green Anaheim chilies. And I'm going to put in just about a half teaspoon of salt here. And stir away. And then all we're doing at this point, we're going to let this cook. It's probably going to take about a half an hour for it to, over low heat, for it to cook down.
Get rid of the liquid.
To a nice thick sauce. And I used red onions today, and they don't cook down as much as the white onions do, but it's still going to be great in here. But you're going to see little flecks of red in the green sauce, which, you know,
it's not very authentic.
No, it might
Shame
not
on
be what you want. And I also didn't add any kind of hot peppers to this. Our experience in New Mexico, sometimes the red sauce was hot and sometimes the green sauce was hot. And this one is not going to be hot because I didn't add any jalapenos or serranos or anything like that. Yeah. The red one will be plenty hot, however, so it'll make up for it. All right, there you have it. All right, so here is our New Mexico green chili sauce, ready for Christmas. Chorizo. This is basically ground pork flavored with things. And in this case, we're looking for the Mexican version. So I have 2 anchos, which are dried poblanos. I have 1 guajillo, which is your smooth skin type of pepper. And I'm going to add 1 chipotle, dried chipotle, to get some heat into this. And, oh, huh?
Yeah, I was waiting for you.
Oh, they're small.
Oh, there you go, okay.
Half an onion, a bunch of garlic, some lime juice, and then oregano, cumin, and coriander, and salt. And that's all the flavors that we're going to put in with our ground pork. And we'll add all this to the pork while the pork's still raw. And then when you cook it, you'll have chorizo. Or, I mean, it'll be chorizo before you cook it too. So the first thing I have to do is get the stems and seeds out of these dried peppers, not this. That'll just go in as it is, and then I'm going to sweat them in a pan to bring out their flavors a little better and soak them in water so that they blend up better and turn into a paste. So I'll get to that, and we'll come back once we're ready to do something exciting. So I'm sweating the chilies in the pan. Here's just a dry pan. Put the chilies in there and stir them around a bit. This doesn't take very long, just a couple of minutes. This is kind of a medium heat. You don't want to burn them. You just want to caramelize them a little bit. Bring out the flavors. You can smell them. So yeah, you notice them start to blister a little bit. These are ready, and they're just going to go right in to a bowl of hot water. And I'm going to soak these for a good 15 minutes in here. Soften them up. Okay, our chilies have softened. I'll tell you, it is so nice to be working with these quality ingredients. These are chilies that we just got from New Mexico, and they were already, nice and moist, and they're super fragrant, super flavorful. They soften nicely. I just love these.
And you've gotten them other places too, right? You don't have to travel to New Mexico.
Correct. I've gotten them online, and for the most part, I've had really good luck. Sometimes they come and they're super dried up. Like if you go to some of the big box type grocery stores and you go check out their chili bin, they're so brittle, they just break apart when you touch them. And these are more raisin-like. All right, so I put in a half an onion and our garlic. I'm going in with 2 tablespoons of cumin, 2 tablespoons of oregano, of course it's in the
Looks
jar.
like a lot of stuff to mix in with that one bit of meat. Are you cutting it in half still?
Yep.
Okay.
And a teaspoon of salt. And 2 teaspoons of coriander.
Ground coriander.
Ground, yes.
Comes in various types.
And then the juice of a lime. Oh, that was harder to squeeze that half. Okay, now this is going to need some liquid, so I'm going to put in some of the chili soaking liquid. We don't want this to be too soupy, but we do want it to blend up. Could have cut the onions a little smaller, probably would have helped. Just a little more liquid.
Yeah, you could have just totally chopped up your onions.
I should have, because they're just kind of floating on top. But we'll get it. It might actually be easier in a food processor, but ours is so big that I didn't want to use it for that.
We might have to get one of those big fancy Ninja blender or Vitamix or whatever someday.
Yeah, I think that looks pretty good to me.
Let's see. Chunks are all gone.
There's a few chunks in there, but I don't know if that's going to be bad mixed in with your sausage. Good strong flavor. I didn't get much heat in this.
That's okay. I know you wanted it to be super spicy, but I don't think you have to do that. That's just my, my opinion, man.
At this point, a little bit of a hot chili powder could be added if you'd like. For Miss Kelly's sake, I guess we won't.
It's different kind of spicy, just flavorful spicy.
But now let's go into our pork with this stuff. And then...
I don't know that you need all that in there. Just saying.
Let's try a little bit of it
and
see what happens. And I think the only way to do this is by hand.
Well, or I saw it suggested to put it in your mixer and use the
Yeah,
red
you could.
paddle.
You could if
So
you
you
want
can
to.
blend it really good.
If you want to get the whole mixer out. And,
Yeah, one more thing to clean.
yeah, see, I think this could use more.
Looks pretty good. I think this is going to be a lot less greasy than the one that we bought
It will.
already made.
Because the ground pork was a little bit lean.
Yeah, which I think is good. I'd rather have that.
It should be good. I think we might, if I was making my own meat grind, I might try and get a little more fat in it, but I think we're doing okay here. There's some chunks of pepper that didn't really blend up, so I'm just pulling those out. We don't need them. All right, so there you have it. Chorizo.
Beautiful.
Gorgeous. All right, so it's time to start getting our stuffing together for our chilies. So we're going to start off with our chorizo, and we're just going to fry this up. I don't think we're going to need to use all of that, but it's nice to have it fried up so we can put it in other things like eggs.
Really good in eggs.
Whatnot. So we'll just get this going, and it wants to stay in the bowl.
It looks really moist.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll be cooking some of that moisture out as we go here. Never know quite what you're gonna get with this homemade chorizo. Should be delicious though.
I think so. I'm excited.
All right, so there we go. We'll just get this cooked up, and then we'll have to let it cool down before we can finish making our stuffing for our chilies. All right, let's stuff some chilies. I have some of our chorizo, and I'm gonna add some jack cheese and some mozzarella cheese. And we'll just mix this together. Don't want to skimp on the cheese, really. It needs more than that.
You can never have too much cheese.
No. It's really gonna... You want these to be nice and gooey when everything melts together. I think even a little more. Some of each. Okay, now I think we're getting somewhere. So, stuffing peppers.
Can you bring those over here so I can see? There you go. Yeah, there you go. That's better.
So I'm going to take a clump here. I'm going to do this with a spoon. Sometimes I just do it with my hand. But I kind of pack it into the spoon and then open up the chili and lay it in there. Now the real trick to this is getting the chilies really full, because nobody wants a skimpy stuffed chili. So I just hold it open and push on this and it will move to the outside edges of the chili. Okay, so didn't get much down in the front, but like so. Now let's see what we get over here. This one didn't get opened very much, so I'm going to open it a little more. Pack the spoon so it goes in there easier. There we go. Work some of that down into the front just by pushing on it. Just another spoonful, push it down. Okay, and I'll be able to get a little more into all of these once I get the first round here. Nice big chili here. In we go. Okay, yeah. So now I can start to use up the rest of this just by pushing this stuff into the nooks and crannies in these chilies. You can see this one's got quite a bit of space up top. And this one still has some room.
That's a big one.
Yeah.
You might have to give that one to our guest.
I think
He eats
so.
a lot.
He's the biggest boy.
He's not a big boy, but he likes to eat the most. He has an appetite.
Okay. Just fill these up all the way full. And you never have to worry about having extra filling because you can always think of something to do with it.
It's good sprinkled on nachos.
Nachos or in eggs.
Everything goes in eggs around here.
And let's see, I think I can get a little more in this one. The one thing to be careful of when you're stuffing these is that you don't poke other holes in your chili, because you don't want this all going out some other direction. All right, this isn't going to be enough for leftovers, so I'm
Good.
Cram that one full. That last little bit in here. And then one more thing before I'm ready to put these in the oven. Get their little tails down. Just for some color, I'm going to add a little bit of cheddar cheese. And then these will go in the oven. Everything's cooked, so we're really just trying to heat everything together.
Thoroughly.
So these will go in for about 40 minutes, probably 20 of them covered and then 20 minutes uncovered. And I just want this cheddar cheese here for a little bit of color. And that's it. There you have it. They're stuffed. And we're going to cook them up. The sauces are all made, so we're ready for Christmas. Presents are wrapped.
New Mexico Christmas?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, here we go. It's time to plate up this magnificent New Mexico meal. So we have Kelly's corn medley, which is a lovely, lovely blend of barbecued corn off
spinach,
the cob.
sweet peppers. Okay.
And then
Tricky stuffed pepper.
the pepper. Look at that. It's beautiful. And then, since we're going for Christmas, which is a New Mexico, we probably explained that earlier. I don't know. It's where you put both,
red and green.
both the red and the green sauce on. And so here's our lovely little green sauce.
Okay.
And you also want to smother it. You don't want to, hold back. You want lots of sauce.
That one came out a little chunkier than
It is.
expected, but
This
it's
should
going to
be
be good.
this should be a silky smooth sauce, and it's not. But that's just the amount of time it's spent under the blender.
But what?
And so I have this pico de gallo, but I'm going to have to let people put that on their own plate.
This is your plate.
Because this is not my plate. This is Greg's plate. Because it has the biggest pepper.
Oh, that's true. Okay.
Come on, I'm thinking.
Go to the next one.
So this is the thing. There's pico de gallo, and there's a little bit of this salsa negra that I bumped up as good additives on a plate.
Okay, do the next one.
So there we go.
Do yours. Okay.
Oh. Corn. First it's corn.
Corn medley. Corn, spinach, sweet peppers.
Oh, there was mushrooms in there too.
And mushrooms, yes.
Okay.
Pepper. Oh, that's a little crispy underneath. That sounds good.
The pepper, the green sauce. This green sauce came out fantastic, by the way.
Is that the spicier one or no?
No, this one has
The red one is
almost
spicy.
zero spice.
Okay.
But it has the smaller, I cut the pepper smaller this time, so it came out pretty good. The red's got the spice. It has a little more bite than I would have liked, but it's really going to be good.
And that's yours. You want the...
And then I'm going to put on this pico de gallo. I put habanero in there. So it came out a little hot. But, I like it hot. Some like it hot. Wasn't that a movie? And then this, I'm going to just add a little bit of this to mine.
Your negra?
Salsa negra. I added pineapple juice, cumin, cinnamon, lime juice, and it really came out pretty good. So there you go.
You want to try it? Wait, take a bite.
Well,
That's the way you're supposed to finish something. Just take a bite anywhere. It's fine.
Boy, that's fantastic. Greg's lucky we invited him over. So, thanks for watching Two Cooks in the Kitchen, and we'll see you next time.